Hey, this is Pastor Steele. I want to welcome you to another edition of Still Strong Podcast. I'm sitting here with my three sons.
What's up? I'm Isaiah Steele.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Isaac Steele.
I'm Irish Steele. What's up, y'all?
And, man, we just had some crazy news go down just yesterday. O.J. Simpson passes away at 76 years old. One of my earliest memories of being a kid was dealing with the case that he had went through. Obviously, I wasn't alive when he was scoring touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills, when he was at USC going crazy, winning the Heisman Trophy there. I caught the tail end of the case of the century, as they call it to this day. What's your thoughts and take on the whole situation?
You know, I've been able to kind of separate the football player from the person, if you will. You know, I grew up in that era watching him play in the late 70s, early 80s. Phenomenal. You know, even if you go now and look at some of his highlights, I mean, the guy rushed for 2,000 plus yards in a 14-game season, which is still crazy when you really think about it. Wild. You know, he was different. You know, like you mentioned earlier, he was great. You know, at USC, you know, won a Heisman Trophy, played 2 years at a JUCO, which a lot of people forget. He didn't just go to USC his freshman year, but he had to go the JUCO route before he made it to USC. But at the end of the day, you know, it'll be 30 years this summer, obviously, that, you know, he was accused of murder. You know, he was obviously found not guilty. But if you ask me my 2 cents, I think he did it. You know what I'm saying?
And it was double murder. You said murder, yeah.
Not one, but he killed 2 people. Again, that's thus saith Reggie, you know. Because according to, you know, the jury, he was obviously found not guilty. And I'm just looking forward to getting, you know, some opinions on what people think about that. But nevertheless, it's sad that he's out of here. As I always say, all of us have a birthday, but we also have a death date. Yeah. And it's so sad because I was watching him on a show called It Is What It Is with the former rapper, or current rapper, Mace
and Cameron.
I would watch him on there, and he would give really good insight, you know, when it came to football and things of that nature. But that just happened so abruptly. Yeah. You know, because I was just watching him in February of this year, and here we are in April. He's gone.
He's out of here. It's that crazy how, I mean, you guys obviously weren't even around when that whole situation went down. But I think you guys ended up watching the TV series that kind of talked about it and everything. What do y'all think? I know this is way far-fetched because y'all weren't around. Neither was I really. But do y'all think he did it?
Man. Fingers pointing right at, bro. I think he might have did it, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Let me just say this. I forgot to say this. When OJ got the call, because he was in Chicago, when he got the call, hey, you need to get back, your ex-wife just got murdered, he never asked the detective, how did she die?
Right.
I mean, so.
He kept it pushing. All right, I'll be back in the morning.
At the same time, though, man, he went through his due process, had his day in court, went through trial.
He had his day in court.
You know, I feel like, I get, because I've watched, of course, I wasn't alive for when it happened. I watched, I think it was called The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Yep.
That's actually a great docuseries.
I watched that.
I guess it's dropping again. They're bringing it back.
Yeah, it's fire. But, you know, it breaks down how everything went. I just feel like from watching that, everything that could have happened to O.J. in that trial went great. Like, all the chips fell his ways to made the jury and everybody say, hey, man, you know, let him walk. Because, like, you know, between the blood and everything like that being new and forensics not being trusted by people, between, you know, the head of was it the head of the police officer was a racist? Like,
Mark Furman.
They found, like, a shrine of, like, you know, of swastikas and stuff in the house. Yeah. And, like, you know, he had history of, you know, being people saying he was racist and stuff like that. So, like, you know, and then, of course, they said they hopped his fence at the house, something like that. They did. You know, basically, you know how it is when there's a murder or something like that. You don't touch nothing. No, but they run around in the house, you know, looking around, looking inside window, opening doors. You can't do that, you know. So I feel like all the stuff that happened in that case that could have gotten OJ locked up, I mean, they did it wrong. So turns out he was free. And, you know, also, too, you know, I definitely have my little conspiracy. I think OJ had his hand in the murder, but I don't think he was the one who did it.
Okay.
I don't think he did it because I feel like between the money he has, between connections he could have made, you know, being a L.A. legend, born in the Bay, from the Bay, just a California legend overall, I think him being as influential as he was, I think he had a couple crash dummies, man. A couple people who could put in some work if they needed to.
Crash dummies.
I think he had some people. I think he had some people that could have got the job done if he needed it done. And I don't think he would risk his freedom by running up in a house and killing people, and the way that like the slashes were to the necks and stuff on the forensics, it was like basically like a person who knew what they were doing when it came to killing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was him just being enraged and just stabbing people up. I think
the
that's
only
true.
thing that makes me think that he potentially could have done it was the blood. They found some of his blood at the scene, which, I mean, at the end of the day, that's a crazy find. I mean, that's pretty wild. Now, mind you, the police probably could have planted it, but how? How do you get blood from somebody to plant it?
But even back then, forensics were interested, so they could have said, "Man, y'all could just easily say that's OJ's blood. Y'all could say the match."
Yeah,
true.
So like you could control the narrative. That's why.
And they found a beanie with his hair in it.
They found a beanie with his hair in it.
Yeah.
Well, the gloves didn't fit, so he must have quit.
You must have quit.
The famous quote by Johnny Cochran.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of things that were.
fit.
There's a lot of things that was pointing his way that made him look guilty. From the cut on his hand, that was pretty fresh.
Yep.
To him not asking how they died, just
Right.
pulled back up like I'll see y'all in the morning.
Yep.
The beanie. Then they found blood in the car in the Bronco. His and hers and Golden's.
Yep. In the
Goldman's in the Bronco. Then the limo driver saw a figure hop the fence to get into the house, and then the phone finally picked up. I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of.
And OJ was an hour late getting to the car.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff pointed at, like I said, a lot of stuff pointed at him, but it didn't fall
Yeah,
on
I mean,
him. So,
hey.
and you can't, you know, I can't lock you up off of what if or a maybe.
Right.
It has to be 100% concrete.
Without a doubt.
proof.
Yep.
Without reasonable doubt.
Yep.
So, and
Facts.
you know, he went through his process, and hey, he walked free. So, you know, RIP to OJ Simpson. Of course, you know, it kind of sucks that, you know, him being probably the best player of the 1970s, you know, national champion, Heisman winner, one of the greatest college players, especially in USC with a decorated history like them.
Yeah.
It sucks that, you know, we're talking about, you know, about a murder case, not talking about just him.
Right.
And we playing for the Bills, playing for the Niners, dominating his era. So, you know, it's definitely sad, definitely abrupt. Like you said, it's random. I woke up this morning. I woke up, I'm like, yo, like,
Man.
OJ's gone.
I didn't even know he was dealing with that. Honestly,
Had no idea.
Had no clue.
Because like you said,
No
I watch Cameron and Mace on It Is What It Is, and he was still giving good takes. Like up until the Super Bowl, the whole season, he was up on the current players, talking about stuff, talking about coaches. Like I was like, okay, this dude's sharp for a 76-year-old.
Yeah.
And now he's gone a couple months later, so it's crazy.
My God, just
crazy.
like that. James 4:14 says this life is like a vapor.
It is, man.
It's here one day and gone the next, just like that. But man, poor OJ.
R.I.P. OJ, man. Hope he found some peace. I hope that you know, I'm hoping he made it into heaven's gates. I hope that he believed in Jesus. You know, I know his mom did. His mom was a real big believer. So, you know, hopefully he follows suit and you know, he rests in peace. Man, I wish he would have said something on that deathbed though. I swear. I remember years ago thinking like maybe he'll wait to like his last moments and be like, y'all, yeah, I ran up in there and did that and then pass on. But obviously that's not the case.
Right.
That's not going. That he never did that. He stuck to it. You know, he took it to the grave.
He did.
He took it to the grave.
Yep.
Speaking of second chances, let's do this. I want to do something different where we obviously in the sports world, there's a lot of individuals that had careers that didn't necessarily pan out like how we all saw or maybe they saw within themselves. But what are the top 3 players that y'all think would basically deserve a do-over to their career? Where their career didn't work out, whether they were a bust or they had an injury or whatever it may be. Do y'all have 3 players off the top of your head right now that you think deserve a do-over?
This is any sport?
Any sport, just in general.
I'm going to go with Jamarcus Russell from LSU.
Yeah,
of course,
for
he
the Raiders.
got #1 pick for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And he was just a bust. I think after 3 years, he was gone.
Oh,
I think they gave him 45, 50 million guaranteed.
Yep.
It would be nice to see him get a do-over.
Yeah.
Another person that y'all probably aren't too familiar with was a guy that played at Nebraska named Lawrence Phillips.
Okay.
He won 2 national championships at Nebraska. Matter of fact, the second national championship they won, he missed the last 5 games, and then Tom Osborne let him play in the national championship. It was either 9 or 11 carries for 199.
Oh my God!
Goodness.
Was the defense out there?
Right.
God,
And the Rams took him, I think, in that first round with the 6th pick. He committed suicide probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
I do remember
Lawrence
hearing
Phillips.
that.
Yeah, he was in jail. He went to jail and got suspended from Nebraska because he beat up one of the girls on the volleyball team that had been cheating on him. Matter of fact, with Scott Frost.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all
Really?
played that.
Quarterback.
Y'all played at Scott Frost's
The camp.
Yep, the camp.
Yeah, so
He was at Oregon.
yeah.
Now where's he at? He was with Nebraska. He got let go.
Got let go.
But yeah, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, but nevertheless, Jamarcus Russell, Lawrence Phillips, R.I.P. Man, and he was such a heck of a runner.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I thought he was the second coming of Barry Sanders.
Dang, man.
And then the third one, oh my God.
There's a lot, man.
Yeah, if I had to pick a third one that can deserve a do-over, you know what? I'm gonna just throw a curveball. Poor Kwame Brown.
Kwame, man. Oh my God.
I wanted to deviate from football.
Yeah, that's
but,
good.
But Michael took him, of course, in the first pick.
Yep.
You know, and that brother, he's still crying on podcasts.
Poor
cussing
fella.
people out.
Yeah, it's bad.
But
It's
at the
bad.
same time, though, like I think having Mike and Kobe, those are like the two guys that's supposed to like mentor you. Like those aren't the best mentors. Those guys are rough. Like
Right.
Yeah.
like I saw a podcast. They're talking about Michael Jordan. They said that Michael Jordan never referred to Kwame Brown as Kwame. They said They said that he called him Ho, like the whole time.
That's crazy.
I heard about
like
that.
hey Ho, get my Gatorade. Hey Ho, wait, you showing up late? Hey Ho, get my towel. Like
Jeez.
That's
That's wrong.
They
That's
said
not right.
and imagine that. Imagine your 18-year-old kid idolizing, let's say, LeBron. Like
I couldn't
nowadays.
imagine.
If you're 18-year-old idolizing LeBron and LeBron would call you your name, he just call you Ho. And then
It's a confidence killer.
it is. So,
100%.
so I feel you
Self-esteem
on
killer.
that, Dad. That's why I tried to add to that because I think Kwame definitely deserved a second chance. Well, I might as well go now too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my three.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what you said first, Jamarcus Russell. I think with his natural arm talent
And size.
and his size, and him, dominating the SEC when the SEC was cooking. Like, I think a guy like Jamarcus Russell, if he stayed focused, was around the right people, had the right mindset, I think he could have really been something special just off of pure arm talent and size alone.
Yeah.
Second person I think of too, I think of Greg Oden. I think Greg Oden.
Man, Gio.
That's a good
Like
one.
Greg Oden, I remember being a kid, him at Ohio State, he was dominant. Of course, he had the knee injuries.
His knees, man.
His knees went out, and I still remember him getting drafted in front of KD.
Yeah.
And at the time, it wasn't a bad choice.
Yeah, sure.
Like at the time, it wasn't crazy. It's okay.
Right.
Greg Oden's, he's, KD.
I agree.
KD, of course, nowadays 2024, KD's number one
Right.
pick, just
Yeah.
off of we've seen it before. Back then, a 7-foot guy who can shoot and play was kind of like, oh, we don't know how this can go. He's skinny.
Right.
He's not. He can't bang with the bigs.
Right.
He can't be physical.
Right.
Because I remember KD, man. KD in college. KD's skinny now. Back then,
Back then,
that boy was
boy,
looking like he was looking
Wembanyama.
anorexic. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Like
For real.
so Greg, I would say Greg Oden. Sad he went out with the knee, so you really can't consider him a bust. You can't consider him a bust, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like his skill just didn't work out. He couldn't play, and we all know that availability. That's the number one thing that needs to happen for you to be that guy. And number three, man, this is actually recent. I think watched him at Alabama for years, man. I'm gonna say Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs from Alabama.
Yeah.
I think now at this point, Henry Ruggs would be an All-Pro.
Yeah.
Yep. I
Like
agree.
this dude had blazing speed, had a good, almost had 1,000 yards his rookie year.
Right.
I feel like him getting implemented with the Raider system and just, I think he'd be a star.
Yeah.
Especially, he was the first receiver off the board over CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. Who else? Whoever else was in that class. It was a deep class.
But he was
So,
great.
I think a guy like Henry Ruggs, of course, unfortunately got into, got into a situation, driving over the limb in Vegas.
Yep.
Killed the woman and her dog.
Yep.
I think he's serving 3 to 7 years or 8 years in Nevada State Prison right now. So, yeah, I'm gonna say Jamarcus Russell, Greg Oden, and Henry Ruggs.
My God.
Another person too, honorable mention. I gotta say Jay Williams, man, with the motorcycle accident.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's another person too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because he would have been good, man.
Yeah.
He was great at Duke. He's probably one of the top 10
Exactly.
college players ever.
And I just watched his tape recently too. I'm like, yo, he could have translated over to the NBA
100%.
nicely. And of course, had
100%.
Yeah.
Riding motorcycles, man.
jacked him
You go
up.
next. You go next.
For me, I would definitely say, as of recent, Johnny Manziel for sure. I think if he was able to get his mindset right and that determinability and really just having some type of drive and want and will, I think he could have been like a Baker Mayfield, if you will. He ain't gonna like whoa you or be a Hall of Famer or nothing,
Right.
but it would have been nice to see him at least have a decent career, not end off the railroad like it did. Because I've had an opportunity to actually have a conversation with him and before, and you can just see the regret and pain in his eyes. I felt it was kind of depressing. I met him on my 28th birthday, and I I walked out of there after meeting him and talking with him for 10 minutes and felt bad. Just felt bad. Just felt the vibe of, you know. And he looked at me straight in my eye and asked me, "Man, you think I messed my life up?" Just like that. And I'm a stranger that just met him that day.
Right.
And I lied to him. I was like, "Nah, man."
Yeah, right.
You know, I wasn't trying to, you know, what did it say? I wasn't trying to basically pour salt in the wound.
Right. Yeah.
But I would love, my heart went out for him when I got in the car that night. Like, dang, man, I could tell he regrets a lot.
Wow.
So Johnny Manziel for sure. I would definitely say I met this guy too, hung out with him. Great guy named Ryan Leaf. He played for Washington State Cougars back in the 90s.
Yep.
And he just so happened to be my old wide receiver training coach, his quarterback. Ran into him at a restaurant, hung out with him for 2-3 hours. Very nice guy. And you can even see in his eyes, he just regrets a lot of the decisions he made.
Ryan Leaf.
He regrets going to the San Diego Chargers, which was like the armpit of the NFL back then.
That's why Eli Manning said, "I'm good."
Which is why Eli Manning literally was like,
there.
"I'm not playing there," and went to New York. And, you know, 2 Super Bowls later, he'll be having a yellow jacket soon. So, you know, it didn't work out for him. So the 2 guys I've met, Johnny Manziel, Ryan Leaf, and then my third one, man, I wish his knee injury never happened, was Derrick Rose.
Yeah, that's what I'm bro.
Derrick Rose is one of the most athletic dudes I've seen in my life.
Yeah, we watched him in high school.
We watched him in high school at Simeon. Then we followed them to Memphis, where they should have won a national championship. Because Mario Chalmers traveled when he played for Kansas and sent that game to overtime. But D Rose, if he never got hurt, man, it would have been amazing to see the damage he was already doing in the NBA. Already had an MVP. He was like, what, 20 years old, 21 years old?
21, still the youngest MVP ever.
Still the youngest ever, and, you know, blows his knee and really just kind of never was the same. So,
on a jump stop.
On a jump stop.
They were up like 17 with like 3 minutes
Didn't even
left
have to
in the
be
game.
in
He
there.
didn't have to be in.
Didn't even have to be in there. Wow. So
Coaches do that.
those 3 right there, Johnny, Ryan Leaf, and Derrick Rose for me.
Those are good. I was gonna say for number 1, Colin Kaepernick. I know he played some years, but man, dude, he was way ahead of the time. Way ahead of the times. Especially with mobile quarterbacks nowadays. And I feel like he would have got a ring, especially being with the Niners and what they have now. Easy ring. Number 2, Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson.
Hey,
Alabama.
Trent was a beast.
I'll never forget he made homeboy fall from Ole Miss. That clip is still crazy.
Ankles.
Vicious.
And then 3, man, I gotta throw him in there. Ryan Shazier, man. He's definitely like, you know, you see Fred, what's his name, Fred Warner now. Man, he's him times 2 in my opinion.
100%.
Shazier had better vision, speed, sideline to sideline, could hit everything you needed. And then lastly, for basketball, OJ Mayo. OJ Mayo. I know he played some years and whatnot, but
He got kicked out the league.
he got kicked out the league, man. But dude, if he just got it together, I feel like he would have been great too, because he was ahead of time. He was in college actually playing ISO ball, not playing that traditional triple threat pass, whatever. He was ahead of the time too.
OJ Mayo was him, bro.
Yeah.
Like he was really
great.
like after LeBron, he was the one.
Yep. I thought he was gonna be like another Bron, honestly, but you know, that's why to mention these guys and talk about it, you know, it's unfortunate that they never actually had a career that panned out to where it was supposed to, you know, what we all thought it was supposed to be. Like an honorable mention for me is Reggie Bush. I think Reggie Bush had a great career, but if Reggie Bush was playing today in 2024, he'd be Christian McCaffrey times 2. You know, but you know, it's just unfortunate how some of these things pan out. You know, but then you got to look at the bright side. There's other guys that we didn't even know about, and then they got in the league and just went crazy. You know, and had phenomenal careers. Like, you know, you look at a guy like a Gilbert Arenas, where he was at U of A, he's good. But he got into the NBA and became a whole monster.
He did.
You know, there's a lot of guys. The list goes on and on. But those 3 I think that's a pretty decent list.
That was.
We all had good lists.
That's not bad at all.
That was real good.
Speaking of basketball, Bronny James has officially declared for the NBA draft. It was first reported that he was going to hit the transfer portal, which I thought was a little odd, but I guess the USC coach is moving on and going somewhere else, I think to SMU or whatever it may be. So I was kind of like, okay, well, he'll just follow the coach to SMU. Man, 24 hours later, they saying this cat going to the league. Crazy. We all know his father, LeBron James, is in the NBA and has been for the last, 19 years? 21 years, I'm sorry.
It's been 21 seasons.
Yes, 21 seasons.
My God.
And the way he's playing, I think he's got another at least 2 to 3 left in him. And he did say he wanted to play with his son. So, I mean, what are the odds of him getting drafted? Are y'all drafting him if you're a GM, or y'all just letting that ride out?
You know what? I would definitely would not take him in the first round, but I would take him in the late second and send him straight to the G League.
Gotcha.
I don't think he's ready. I mean, he was averaging like 4 points a game. I mean, he was barely averaging more points than us.
Yeah,
right.
2 more buckets than us.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
Right.
I think he's moving premature. I think he should have just. And he's making probably, I think I can be wrong, maybe $8 to $10 million a year.
Sure.
With the NIL deal.
Yeah.
I would just stay there, and work on your craft.
Get your money.
I'm like, what's the rush?
Yeah. I mean, he's
'cause-
not hurting for meals.
Right, that part. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like you got to go and rescue your mom and dad out of poverty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Your dad's a billionaire.
Your dad's a billionaire. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
Literally.
So I think he's moving too fast. I think that he should work on his craft. But I think somebody will take him in the late second. And if he doesn't get drafted, he'll get a call immediately after the draft. Somebody will snatch him up and send him to the G League. Just like Shaquille O'Neal's son, he didn't get drafted. He averaged like 1.9 or by 1.7 points a game at LSU.
Or was LSU? Or was
he transferred.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he went to, and then couldn't even score a bucket. And then, of course, nobody drafted him, but the Lakers gave him a shot.
Right.
That didn't work out for him. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Bronny gets drafted because LeBron's made it be known. He wants to play with his son. So basically, you kind of get a package. So
a little 2 for 1.
If I get if I draft LeBron, LeBron when his contract comes up to an end, he's gonna go over and play with his son wherever he's at. So honestly, I think the Lakers get him. I think the Lakers
would not surprise me
because I think that's why LeBron say, hey, you know what, man. Yeah, you could transfer or do another year, but man, just put your name in. Put your name in. If no one's gonna get you, I'll make sure they come get you.
Wow. Yeah. He got that kind of influence.
It's LeBron James.
It's
what they call him, La GM?
The second they ever do it.
It's LeGM.
La GM.
He's the greatest, man. He the best.
I would start a war up in here.
Oh my God.
He the best.
Nah, he the best. But LeBron James, I think LeBron James has enough pull because the Lakers don't want to lose LeBron, especially for me as a Lakers fan. I would love to see LeBron, do his little farewell tour like Kobe in that Lakers uniform. That'd be dope to see him, ride off in the sunset in that yellow and purple. So I think LeBron said, "Hey, Bronny, yeah, you could go to SMU, you could go to Ohio State, you can go anywhere and play in these next 1 or 2 years and come out, but man, yeah, you averaged 4 points, but it don't matter.
Right.
I'll make sure they get you. You know, let's say Lakers get the 22nd pick, 23rd pick. If they don't get him, then I think they'll trade up or do whatever they can do early second round to get Bronny. Like you said, I would put him in the G League. I put him in the G League. See what he does for a couple weeks, whatever, a couple months, maybe a year, and then we're gonna bring him up. You know, give him little 10-day contracts, throw him out there, because why not throw him out there last couple minutes of the half? Why not throw 2 minutes left in the first quarter? Let's see what he can do. Especially a guy like Bronny. If you guys watched him play, he's nice. He's an all around player.
Right.
Defensively skilled, 3-point shot, athletic, springy. So I think the Lakers end up picking him up, and he's coming off the bench for the Lakers.
His game reminds me of? It reminds me of Gary Payton Jr. That's the vibe I get. Like he's not gonna be his dad. And it wouldn't even be fair for us to compare him to his father. You know what I'm saying?
No one's been his father.
No, we'll never see that.
Truth be told, the second kid is the one that's gonna be the
Bryce.
He has more size.
He's the dog.
Yeah.
Because Bronny, how tall is Bronny? 6'3",
6'4",
probably
maybe.
needing a haircut. 6'3".
Yeah, 6'3", which is crazy because Bron's 6'9". Out of the other side, I think he's around 6'7" and growing.
Right.
So like you said, you're right though, Zay. Same size, 6'3", 6'4", athletic. Go out there. He has a better shot though than Gary Payton. That's the thing. He has a better shot, but same type of vibe. Go out there and just go playmate. And
block some shots, get some boards.
Nothing wrong with that. I think that'd be dope to see. Eventually, LeBron's last couple of years, you see his son coming off the bench playing with him too. I think that'd be beautiful to see, honestly.
Crazy.
You hear a little James to James. That'd be tight, like for an assist. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Assist, like you see them, you got pictures of them. That's dope. That's like, of course, Ken Griffey Jr. and Senior did that.
Right. Yeah,
so
they sure did.
Of course, I wasn't alive for that. So seeing that for my generation would be great.
Yeah, that would be
and
cool.
for black men too. A black man who was raised without a father doing
right.
that. Playing with his son.
That's true.
It'd be beautiful.
No, I agree with everything y'all said. I think he'll get picked up. The only difference is he might be undrafted, in my opinion. And they might just give him give him a tryout, bring him out, put him on, But other than that, I feel like they're going to be together. They will. But I have a little theory. I feel like I don't know. Knowing LeBron, I know he loves LA, but I feel like he might finish in Cleveland. For some
dope.
reason, I feel like he might finish in Cleveland, and Cleveland might pick him up.
Hey,
I think he might do it, bro.
Honestly,
chapter.
I think he might.
Isaac, you on something? Because I'm thinking, bro, they got Donovan Mitchell, they got Darius Garland, they got Jared Allen, even like Max Strus, they got Isaac Okoro, they got Karis LeVert. They have like a nice young core in Cleveland right now.
Yeah.
I think LeBron going to Cleveland and playing his last couple of years, I don't think that'd be crazy. I think they could actually contend.
Yeah. And they would accept him with open arms.
Yes.
Man. It's
Of
LeBron.
course they would. But the only reason why I say no to that is because that brother don't want to move back to Cleveland and live there. Like, you see what I mean?
Yeah, but
like,
he's from there, though. It's different.
I understand that totally, but he's got that LA lifestyle. That cat at Nobu right now eating lunch before they play whoever
I've
tonight.
been to Akron.
Yeah.
Akron look
I've been to Cleveland.
like a bomb hit.
What's the best thing? Hey, what's the best thing about Cleveland?
The airport. Yeah, that's what Carmelo
said that.
Yeah.
The best thing about Cleveland is the
It's
airport.
the airport.
He said, you never hear people talk about vacation.
Hey,
I'm going to
It was
Cleveland.
Joakim Noah.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
like, no ever vacations to Cleveland. Yeah.
I don't know if he's ready to start eating that canes again.
That boy getting that caniac after the game.
Y'all don't think Bron go back to Cleveland? I think
he does.
I think.
That's what I'm saying. You can't do it again.
To go back a third time is kind of crazy.
That's
but
wild.
I think that'd be dope. But like I said though, I think personally the Lakers, and also too, I've been watching analysis talking. They're saying that this upcoming draft is the worst draft coming up ever.
Well,
So
I
that's
can't.
why women's basketball did
Yes.
better, huh?
100%.
So the fact that this is the worst NBA draft ever, that's why Bron said, "Hey man, or LeBron told
Put your
Bronny,
name in. A
Put
whole
your
bunch
name
of
in.
bums put their names in.
This ain't no stat class, whereas
That's
this
a good
guy and that
point.
guy.
Because you don't know who coming out next year.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
they could be something. It could
Yeah.
be something vicious next year. But
Yeah.
now's the time to do
Now's
it.
the time to go. Hey,
I mean, look at guys like Kenny Pickett. We had to pick up Kenny Pickett as a Steeler fan, or the Steelers did, because there was no one else.
Yeah.
He would have
And
been
Ben
third
was
rounder
done.
any other draft.
Yeah,
Third rounder.
easy. I mean, and obviously that's where he's in Philly. We sent him to Philly to die.
Yeah, for nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah,
real.
so just like that, and we all know LeBron James is a smart guy. He's a businessman ultimately too.
Yep.
I think LeBron sat down with his people and said, "Hey man,
What y'all think?
This is the worst draft class coming out. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Bronny to leave. He can either go late first, early second, even undrafted. It don't matter where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to Rob Pelinka, the GM. I'm gonna talk to Jeannie Buss. I'm gonna talk to the family. Let them know the schemes. Hey man, we can put little Bronny on the team. This way, marketing. Lights, camera, action, money, whatever. Them folks, they're gonna be right with it. So I can see. I think Bronny James next year is gonna be in that purple and gold. And I think that's gonna be cool.
All right, so let's say he does get drafted to the Lakers. He is in that purple and gold. He goes to G League for a little bit. They bring him up because he's good enough. He's playing well enough. He has good minutes. He's putting in work. He's scoring points. Do y'all think LeBron Sr. lets Bronny go out with the team and stuff after the games? Y'all think he hitting the club with him?
LeBron's a big old kid. If you see him, LeBron.
You think he'll let his son come out with him?
Well, how old is Bronny? 19, 20?
He's 19.
That's too much of a risk factor.
He might gotta wait.
Yeah, he gotta wait.
Yeah, he gotta wait.
Yeah,
They're gonna hang out at the crib after the game, but
and
he'll probably have his own crib by then.
Yeah, he
so
will.
Obviously, he's drinking now, but
Yeah.
but
But
you don't
legally.
want him to get thrown under the bus.
This cat inside Magic City at 19 throwing dollars.
And Bron's smarter than that. He has no off the court issues.
That's real.
Never anything. He's smarter. He won't do that.
Yeah,
His
Bron's-
agent will probably be like,
I think he got them NDAs on deck.
Oh, yeah.
You got to
LeBron,
make sure. You walk in the room with LeBron, you signing some type of
Something.
paper, and they taking your
and they
phone.
taking your phone.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're
100%.
trying to find reasons to break us down too. So seeing a guy like LeBron being up top for so long, being an upstanding citizen, I think him playing with his son is just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
So
And he deserves that, man. He deserves that
He
ending.
deserves that ending.
Yep.
Yeah, and that gonna make him the GOAT, Dad, as a father.
No,
Man,
I need him to get 2 more rings.
man.
I need him to get 2 more rings.
I appreciate him. Though.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see though. The NBA draft is not too far away, so we'll see where he ends up and where that whole thing transpires. But how cool would that be to see a father-son duo in basketball? With basketball, obviously, is not the most physical sport, but it is physically grueling as far as running on that hardwood for
Especially on
20 plus
knees.
years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like they showed a picture of LeBron's feet the other day. Boy, I thought that looked like Lucifer's heart. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I mean, you putting that many miles with hardwood and all these years and the longevity of it.
Baseball is much easier. It's more lax, you know. So that's why the Griffey's got a chance to do that.
Yeah, like the Griffey's. That I think did the Ripkins do it or no? No. I think Cal came before. Okay, there we go.
There's brothers and their dad was a coach.
The dad was the coach.
I
That's
got
right.
Griffey Jr. Was it June?
Cal Ripken.
Ken Griffey. Remember he went to U of A. He played receiver.
Yeah, you played with
his son.
I played with his son.
Your son.
Yep.
And then the grandson.
Right.
Yeah,
man. But you know, hey, well, we'll see though. In a couple months, it's going to be interesting to see where Bronny goes. Hoping that he ends up with his dad and wants to reunite with him, like his dad's already said. We had an opportunity this past Monday to go to the national championship, which was out here in Phoenix. UConn versus Purdue. Packed out stadium, 76,000 people. It was insane. The atmosphere was insane. It was such a good time. UConn ended up pulling away, becoming a back-to-back champion, which was something that a lot of people weren't expecting this year. With college basketball and the tournament being so unpredictable, it's very rare you see back-to-backs.
Right.
So I mean, we basically witnessed history, if you will. How did you guys feel about the game and everything?
Oh man, I thought it was great. That first half. I think UConn went in a locker room with a 6-point lead.
Yep.
But once they came out, man, they couldn't miss a shot.
Yeah.
You know, and they pulled away, of course. And with the experience that they had the year prior, you know, we all knew, all four of us predicted that UConn would win.
That's good.
You know, but Purdue put up a fight in that first half. You know, shout out to Purdue. But it was I'm glad we went. That was our second time doing it in 7 years. You know, something like that. In our backyard, you know, we live 15 minutes from the stadium.
Right.
We had to make that happen, and so it was good. You know, shout out to UConn for getting it done. And what's interesting, you guys know, for years I've declared that, you know, a lot of superstars don't become great coaches.
Right.
And Danny Hurley's the perfect example. He
Right.
played at Seton Hall. His brother played at Duke.
Right.
Bobby Hurley, who was a legend at Duke.
Right.
Picked up 2 national championships. Where Danny Hurley didn't even play his last year at Seton Hall.
That's crazy.
He just decided to walk away from basketball and become a coach.
Dang.
And look at him now. I mean,
because his brother's a coach at ASU.
At ASU.
And he's not worth a nickel. Right now.
Yeah.
Even though he had a better basketball career on court, off the court.
Right.
I mean, it's not going well. But his brother, like you saying, 2 natties in 2 years. They got 6 all time. I think that's tied with Kansas. Kentucky, UCLA, not UCLA. UCLA's still ahead, I think. I mean, but you look at what he's doing; it's crazy.
It is. It is. If you put Michael Jordan in front of me, Steve Kerr as a coach, I'm taking Steve Kerr.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
It's just these guys, like even Doc Rivers. I know he gets a lot of criticism because he's not the greatest coach, but again, he was an average player for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
And he's picked up a ring or two.
He got an NBA.
You know, Tyrone Lue. Is that his Ty Lue?
Yep, Ty Lue.
You know,
he got stepped over by Allen Iverson back 2001.
Finals game 1.
But he got him an NBA Finals ring.
Yeah, so it's guys like that were good role players become good coaches.
That's facts.
Phil Jackson.
Yep.
I mean, he
Phil
worked
Jackson.
a quarter playing for the New York Knicks back in the day, but he picked up 6 rings with the Bulls and
Yeah.
another 5, I think, with the Lakers.
But it's just it's like we've talked about it before. It's just something about that guy who understands the responsibility of role playing that knows how to bring the whole team in, because these superstars don't know.
Yeah.
You put a LeBron out there, LeBron like, man, just take him one-on-one.
Yeah, just take over.
You know,
Yeah.
you put MJ out there, man, just take him. Just
Right,
go.
right.
Just
What's the
drop.
problem?
Hey, I need you to
Lock
score
in.
60 tonight. Just go do your thing.
Right.
Where these role player coaches is like, all right, now you're going to pass it to Billy and you're going to pass it to Jamal and you're going to dunk it.
You're going to come
Marcus.
set the screen.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
understand that part of
They do.
basketball, where these
Right.
NBA stars is like, man, just dunk on them.
Right.
And they're like,
right.
bro, I'm 5'9".
Take it to the paint.
Yeah,
you know?
just back them down.
Those type
also
of guys
too,
understand just development. Just
Exactly.
development
I think it's
overall.
watching too. Also,
Yeah.
like on top of not only understanding the little guy of the team, but also think about that. The guys that that weren't the star players, they're on the bench. They're watching everything unfold.
Yep.
Opposed to when you LeBron, you just how it is when y'all play. It's just you just instincts take over. You just out there doing your thing.
Yep.
Well, if you're actually watching, you're seeing screens, you're seeing stuff break down. So I feel like they have an advantage from guys not being the star players, actually sitting back in crunch time situations, even looking and seeing what's going on. Opposed to when you in it, you just in it. You're not thinking about nothing. You was thinking about your role. So, but no, it was dope seeing UConn go back to back, first time since Florida did it, in mid 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So, seeing that was cool. Being there, my second time going to a national championship. I'm grateful for it. Thank you again too, Dad. For getting us there. Because that was a dope experience. Yeah, the game got a little ugly second half, but it still was, the environment there was still cool. It was still lit. It was packed out. Everybody running around, jumping around. A lot of school spirit on both ends.
It took them a minute to fire up that one shining moment too, man.
It did.
Come on. We sat 20 minutes. But I tell you what, them Purdue people ran out of there.
They was gone.
Yeah,
They back in their hotel room.
They was gone with 2 minutes left.
They was at Sky Harbor.
Yeah, for real. UConn did them boys bad second half. I felt bad for Zach Edey too from Purdue because he had 37 and 10.
Yeah,
he did literally all he could do.
That brother had no help.
But man, them boys ain't making no threes. They wasn't doing nothing. I'm like, bro, they just feeding old boy down low. Like, when's the game? Like, so seeing that happen, it was dope. Seeing second national championship. It's just weird seeing college basketball now because I've talked about it on the podcast here. I just hate how college basketball is like you're not seeing they don't got that same spark as it used to. Even when I was younger, even like John Calipari left Kentucky, he's at Arkansas now. Like even seeing that as an end of an era, like it's like man, what's next for college basketball?
Loyalty's at an all-time high. I'm sorry, loyalty's at an all-time low, and commitment is as well. That's why these cats if they're not doing 1 year. They're doing no years, going right to the G League or whatever it may be, and so they got to fix it.
That's why the women taking over, man.
Yeah, the women are, and shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks. The women went out there 38-0.
Dawn Staley
made it happen. Dawn Stanley, shout out to her.
Dawn Staley, they won. I think they're 101-3 or 4 the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, they've lost 3 games in the last 3 seasons.
Did you guys see what they do at practice? Oh, they practice against men.
Oh, you know what? I did see that. Yeah, they call them the highlighters. They wear like these bright green jerseys. They play against a whole bunch of dudes that basically tried to walk on at the South Carolina men, didn't make it. They go right over and practice with the girls.
That's dope.
And guess who's getting rings too?
Them.
They're getting rings too. That's dope.
They put in that work with
that is dope.
I mean, I appreciate what Dawn Staley's doing. I grew up watching her. She's around my age.
Sure.
So I grew up watching her at the University of Virginia. She was a dog on the court. She played point guard. I mean,
she's an Olympian, whole bunch of gold medals.
All of that.
WNBA player. I seen her. I remember she was on Martin too. When she was on an episode of Martin. So
when they was hooping.
Yeah, they was hooping.
Yeah.
So it was dope seeing that, and I, of course I don't know if you mentioned it too, but the women's championship had more more viewership than the men's championship, which is showing the shift in women and men's basketball. And, but like we talked about, is them staying. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Even this South Carolina squad. These teams been sticking together 3-4 years. We've been seeing.
That's true.
We're seeing the same people, even like Juju Watkins at USC now. They got to the Final Four. She's a freshman. She was second in the country scoring, and we all know she's going to do another 2-3 years.
Easy.
So it's dope seeing her. We can watch her career play out. Wow, a John Wall or a Zion Williamson.
One and done.
We all know that's all we seeing.
We saw them cats for 4 months.
That's it.
It's over.
Lost in the 16, they was gone.
It's over.
And that's what I love about growing up in the 80s and the 90s. I got a chance to see Patrick Ewing at Georgetown for 4 years. I got a chance to see Akeem Olajuwon at the University of Houston for 3 years. I mean, I can go on and on. Even guys like Ray Allen, who played 3 years at UConn. But nowadays, these cats is trying to get their bag, and I get it. But at the end of the day, you don't want to. You can mess around, and blow your knee out. Go get your bread. But it's made college basketball be watered down. That's why you got teams like Oakland beating Kentucky. And Oakland, we had to Google where that was. And it was somewhere in Michigan.
I thought it was in Cali.
Me too. It was just funny.
That's crazy. I thought Oakland was in Oakland this whole time.
I thought it was in the Bay Area. That's in like Michigan somewhere.
Right. You had some 6-year senior pulling up 10 threes.
Hey, man.
I remember that dude.
He looked like the coach. He's about 29 years old pulling up.
We're not a Cinderella. I want to be like, you better go see.
You're a Cinderella, my boy.
Yeah, they lost, 2 days later? Like, brother, come on now. Please.
And he definitely gonna be someone financial advisor and sit down in one of the meetings like, one day I hit 10 threes against Kentucky.
They're
gonna be like,
one. They're gonna be like, no way.
He's definitely headed to be an engineer.
100%. 100%. He's got a bright future ahead.
The products definitely cooked.
Yeah.
I just wonder how they're gonna if they can figure something out, because we all see the European players taking over. All these people from out of the different countries are coming in and taking over the NBA. So it's like. But these guys are developed. These guys are they're guys like Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, even like Victor Wembanyama. These guys they're all around guys. They're playmakers. They're fundamentally sound. They're not out there just trying to cook you, playing ISO ball.
And they've been playing professionally since 16, 15 years old.
And they're very team oriented. That's why they come to the NBA and just cook right away. Right. So it's like, how can American born players, especially in the NCAA, compete with these guys? It's getting bad.
It's starting to get.
Like, I couldn't tell you a single starter except for that Edey dude on that court.
Yeah, he's from Canada.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you a. You're not even from the United States. Wow.
Canadian.
See, I couldn't tell you a single name, bro, when I went to that game. But it was still a good game all in all.
Of course. But like Pops was saying, it's a watered down version of what we're used to.
Right.
Yeah.
And the women's version is great. I mean, I can name more women players in this size tournament.
Yeah.
Me too.
Between Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and all these other. I mean, and they just announced today, the WNBA draft is coming soon. Obviously, we all know Caitlin Clark's going #1 to the Indiana Fever.
Okay.
They have 40 games in total, and 36 of them are going to be nationally televised already confirmed.
Really?
36 of the 40 are nationally televised just because she's coming. Dang. And I'll be real, I'd much rather her play than a lot of other people. I mean, I would. Like, if it's a Tuesday night and the Fever are playing against the Mercury, I might pull up. You know what I'm saying?
You just might.
I might pull up.
Yeah.
Like, and that's dope. That's dope that she has that power.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool to because once again, we were watching, I think you sent it to me, but this guy was like on Hollywood Boulevard, and he was offering people $5 or free tickets to a WNBA game. Man, them people was snatching them $5 and walking off. Now, if it's the Fever versus Diana Taurasi,
oh man,
we might have to. We might be courtside for like $120.
That's right.
Off topic too. Y'all been seeing Diana Taurasi, man. She been throwing a little.
She been hating a little.
She been throwing some shade at Clark, like, oh, she going against 18-year-olds. Like, yeah, I get that.
Is that what she said?
But she's not trying to embrace her. I'm like, come on now, don't be that person.
She ain't trying to give up that mantle.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it a bug. Caitlin, like Diana the GOAT. But Caitlin got, man, listen.
Caitlin got a strap on her.
Listen, you better be careful. That's what I'm saying. I think they play June 30th out here.
Get the tickets.
Man, we might have to go ahead and get the tickets. See what's up.
I've only been to one Mercury game.
I've never been in my life.
The only reason why we win is because my wife y'all mother had to do chapel.
You know what? I was with you.
I went to that.
Y'all were young.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
I've been in a WNBA
game, and that was by accident.
Man.
If she didn't have to do chapel, we wasn't going nowhere near the vicinity.
Hey, I'm almost positive it's like June 30th. They out here. I'm gonna look into it.
See her play in person.
And they only throwing shade because they see Caitlin Clark changing everything.
Yes, exactly.
That's all it is, bro. Because those girls put in that same work, but they wasn't balling like Caitlin Clark. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah,
they just weren't.
Even the fact that we're talking about WNBA hoops, for next year is crazy because this was not happening for most men.
Never.
And last year was kind of the start of it when LSU played Iowa in the Natty, which included Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Yeah. She was out there balling. Like I literally watched from Elite 8 up. I watched them games. I watched, which is crazy because a person like me, I'm watching NBA. I'm doing my own thing. For me to say, hey, man, 4:10, 5 o'clock. I'm about to watch this Iowa LSU game. UConn playing USC. Like I'm really sitting back watching, seeing what happens, watching full WNBA, watching women's college basketball. So it's good, happy for women. Even me having nieces, of course I could eventually have daughters, and I'm like, this is cool that could be the spark of a revolution of women hoopers to actually get the credit because we all know women been hooping. Like Maya Moore's, Diana Taurasi.
For sure.
Lisa Leslie's, Candace Parker's, We've seen all these girls been hooping. The girl who went against Steph Curry in the 3-point contest. Sabrina, I can't pronounce the last name.
Yeah.
I'm saying we all know women can hoop since the WNBA's inception. But, I just love the fact that for my little nieces, for my daughters to come, the spotlight's on it.
Yeah,
so for them to actually do it, and they can actually get some money too.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it. Well, we're running low on time. You want to just go right into the recap?
Yeah, what about Stephen Furtick?
All right, let's talk about it then, real quick. All right, real quick, because I know we got stuff to do today. But so there was a situation this past Sunday. Pastor Stephen Furtick out in Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the biggest churches, Elevation Church is huge. I mean, they've got campuses in other countries at this point. It's ridiculous. But the pastor's coming under a whole bunch of scrutiny right now because he had on a $2,000 shirt on stage. Somebody typed in the shirt, Googled images or whatever it may be.
Jesus.
Neiman Marcus, it was just shy of $2,000. Now people are saying that he robbing the people and robbing God, and he's a shyster and all these other things. Basically, he's coming under a lot of fire right now, just based off of a T-shirt. I guess my question for you is, how do you feel about it, and do you think he's wrong?
If you really dig, I think the Ferdix Church is probably doing probably 40, 50 million a year.
Easy.
Easy. I mean, they're finances are not an issue at that church.
Right.
Obviously, I'm sure he gets a phenomenal salary, rightfully so.
Sure.
The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 9 and 14, it says that if I preach the gospel, that I am to live from the gospel. Not only that, 1 Corinthians 9 and 11, it says, if I've sown into you in the spirit, it says I'm to reap your carnal, which means material.
Right.
So man of God should be compensated. Now, I will say this. I'm not, at 52 years old, 20 years later, I'm not going to climb on my stage with a $2,000 shirt on.
Right.
I'm just, I might have did something stupid like that at maybe 32, but I don't even know if I would have did that then. Right. But nevertheless, I'll probably just to stay under the radar when it comes to your clothing. And there are cases where you are pastoring some less fortunate people as well, and
right.
And what's sad, I'll put it to you like this: a lot of times, people don't value what we do as pastors. Like it's okay for NBA guys and NFL guys and Fortune 500 company guys to have airplanes, but the minute they hear that a pastor has an airplane, they are falling out. You know what I'm saying? And it's because they don't value what we do. I think they think we just show up with a speech on Sunday for 35, 40 minutes, and then that's all we do during the week, and they have no idea the grind that goes on throughout the week, and
right.
You're trying to maintain budgets, and then you turn into a counselor during the week, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot that goes into it. I personally wouldn't do a $2,000 shirt on Sunday, and as you guys were sharing with me, he's taking some heat for it, and it's unfortunate, but I would have wore that on the weekend somewhere.
Man, wear that.
Take your wife out to dinner, with that shirt on. But I wouldn't wear that in front of the people, because people are going to be very critical, and we live in a social media world now where you're walking, you got a back on your back, a target, with all these phones nowadays.
You got to dang near walk on water, man.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
But don't do that; they're gonna talk bad about you. Say he think he Jesus. I agree with you, man. I feel like obviously when you're on stage, you should look presentable. You can't be up there in a white beater and some ripped up shorts and some sandals. I think that as a man of God or a woman of God, if you're on stage, you ought to look presentable.
Sure.
And I think there's a lot of other things you can wear besides a shirt that costs that much. Just because the day in the world we live in, I mean, everything is Googleable. I mean, is that a word? Is Googleable a word?
Like it's
a word.
Everything
now.
is
just made it.
Everything is brand new. I'm a copyright it. But everything is Googleable at this point.
Right.
And from your shoes all the way up to what your bifocals, whatever glasses you got on, people are gonna know exactly how much they are, what it looks like, and then of course you have people out there that will literally try to paint a picture to make you look like a bad person, or like you're all about the money, or all about the Benjamins, or whatever you may say. Yeah. When 9 times out of 10, that's not the case, man. I feel like that age of pastoring is it's still there. Don't get me wrong. There are some that are clout chasers, and they do got some designer on every Sunday, and I get that. That's just what they want to do, and that's fine, whatever. But I feel like the day and age of pastors wearing the Balenciagas and their church looks like a shack is far few in between. Now, there are still some out there, but the guys that we see, like the mainstream guys, usually their church and their outfits match each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They not in a storefront with a whole Fendi suit on.
Right.
They'll have a Fendi suit on, but they're in a big facility, a big church, and they've got a big congregation, and they're doing big things in the community. Right. I think if all that stuff matches across the board,
that's good.
It really shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
It's them ones that's pulling up in the Bentleys in front of a church that seats 15 people. Those are the ones that I look at like, you ain't no good.
Yeah,
you chasing the check,
Sure,
and not souls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Stephen Furtick, I've watched him for years. Man, he's genuine.
He is.
He's a genuine dude.
Yeah.
Loves the Lord, really cares about people. And like you were saying, it's more than just what you're doing on Sunday. I know throughout the week, he's flying different places to meet with people and do things. And they're building schools in the community and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, could you have not wore that? Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, hey, man, you're going to do what you want to do. Let the people talk.
Yeah,
they're gonna talk.
Yeah. And I'm sure a guy like that, he worried about what word he preaching. He not, too concerned on, what am I wearing? How am I gonna look? And for all we know, he probably got a stylist who was like,
he probably didn't even pick that shirt.
I just thought about that before you said that, Isaac.
Yeah,
because my stylist, I have no idea the stuff that he's buying me, what it's worth.
Right.
Because one time I was preaching and somebody was commenting on these shoes I had on, and somebody asked me what they were. I said I don't know.
Right.
And to come to find out, they were called Fear of Gods.
Right.
And then, matter of fact, you guys know Mom's cousin back in Virginia named Chris.
Yeah,
He was the one that he's like, yeah, man, those are $700 shoes. I was like, that's
man,
what's up.
you even know.
I had no idea. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because right now I'm wearing this. I've been wearing this sweater for 3 years from Walmart.
I was about to say Wally World.
Yeah. Mom's been trying to throw it away from years. I'm like, no, you're not. It's comfortable.
Mom calls it a shoody. It's called a shoody, a shirt and a hoodie. You know?
Man.
Yeah.
But man,
I agree.
I don't got a stylist for all
exactly.
we know.
I'd agree with that too. And I feel like pastors, pastors that have big churches from the beginning of time, they've been wearing expensive garments, especially with suits. I know suits was super hot back in the day too. Like but with a suit, if I'm wearing a black suit, most suits only on the inside you can see it's a Tom Ford suit or a Garboni suit, or like a real expensive suit. So I feel like I can see how folks can see it that are broke and are in a financial bind.
Well, it's usually haters that's talking like that.
Or they probably they in that church on a Sunday, because I'd be a little disgruntled if I'm on church on a Sunday. I'm looking up at a pastor. He got a $2,000 shirt on my stomach growling. I didn't even eat last night. And I don't know how.
Hungry.
And I don't know how I'm gonna get some breakfast after church. So I can see. I see both sides.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's just little. Y'all shouldn't be worried about that. What somebody got in their body. It should
be the least of your worries.
It should be what you're getting in your body. It should be a word, something that can actually feed your spirit, feed your soul, feed your mind. I think that's what's more important.
That's good.
If you're just looking at, he has a $2,000 shirt on, I'm checked out. Man, you got bigger fish to fry.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy clearly he's earned this.
And
he's earned that lifestyle.
Yeah, he's learned that. And I'll say this, and I think one of y'all mentioned it before we came on, and it's interesting how you have a white mindset and a black mindset.
Right.
Where a black mindset, if you got a church of that caliber, black people can really care less.
Especially if you like in Atlanta.
You just
anywhere,
you booming. You know what I'm saying? You're not in, like you said earlier, some hole in the wall storefront.
Different.
Your car bigger than the church.
Right. Where black culture, we like, man, we want to see our man that God bless.
Yeah, he flex
where
on
I was a part of several white churches, they don't play that.
No, they don't like that.
They like, wait a minute.
You need to dress just like Jerry.
You
and
better
Jim.
calm all that down.
Relax.
We need you to wear a white tee and some Wranglers.
Like
that.
what's his name out at Radiant? Remember the pastor at Radiant, Lee McFarland?
Yep.
Yeah.
He would always wear like a Hawaiian shirts.
Right.
Little 16,
Yep.
$18.99.
Right.
And the congregation's like, would you just stay right there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But I guarantee you go to his crib and look in his closet. He got some Fendi in there.
Yeah.
Right? He's probably bringing on the weekends with the
He
wife.
probably got something nice in the garage too, and rightfully so.
As you should.
A prophet deserves a prophet's reward.
100%.
And not even because my pastor's my pastor. My father's a pastor. I'm in the church. Even if I'm in the outside world, I could see. But this person's supposed to live like supposed to have nice things.
Yeah.
Hey.
What you want him to do? Run around here?
Right.
Run around here in some little beat up little hoopty? Like he should have a nice car. Should have a nice house.
Absolutely.
And hopefully the pastor's favor rubs off on me. That should be the logic.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I remember probably 10 years ago when I bought my Range Rover in 2014, and we had we moved in here first, and I wanted to make sure we bought this because remember I wanted to get a Range Rover.
Right.
And one of the members made a comment. It says, "Wow, Pastor, you got a Range Rover now, huh?" I'm like, yeah, it matches my church.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you got this $12.1 million church, which you just appraised for about 2 months ago.
Right.
And we're talking $125,000 car that I bought.
Right.
And I still got it.
Right.
You know, 10 years later. It ain't worth $125,000
Nah,
now.
Right,
it's
right,
got about
right.
that many miles.
You better believe him for it.
A lot of miles.
But you guys know I've never been materialistic.
Never.
That's why
Never.
I'm
You never
like,
have.
You know, like I'm wearing my same
Yeah.
$300 Yeezys that I've been wearing for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable. You get my age, you going for comfortability.
100%.
Like these shoes I be wearing on Sunday, what are they called?
The McQueen's?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wearing them on Monday.
Right.
Or Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
You said they uncomfortable, huh?
Very.
They be having your toes squished
Man,
together. I'm already
listen,
knowing.
I'm just trying to look cute in front of the people.
Yeah, and you
know what
got
I'm
to
saying?
because
Yeah.
like if for instance, let's say I run into a bunch of money, if I need a financial advisor, if I'm meeting with financial advisors, if a guy walks in there with stains all on the shirt, dingy jeans, and his shoes is ripped up, right away I'm like, nah, you can't give me no financial advice. Now, if somebody comes in there with a nice suit,
Right.
you know, they got a haircut, they smell good, obviously that's somebody I'm more leaning towards. And I think it should be the same way with your pastor. I think if you walk in there and your pastor looking grungy and dirty, like he ain't showered in days,
Jesus.
why are you even sitting down listening to that man of God?
My God.
I think he should be looking presentable and decent, you know, and go from there.
Absolutely.
So that's our 2 cents on it. I mean, you know, like I said, I think if more people just mind their own business and worry about them, I think the world would be a little bit more peaceful.
That's real.
You know,
That's real.
in my opinion.
And I'll just do a brief recap of Sunday. I preached a message called "I Still See God," and my whole aim was that regardless of what you might be facing, maybe you're in a setback in your life, maybe you're going through something that's just horrendous. I want to encourage you to, even in the spite of that, you still need to see God. And my whole aim was that, remember, God is faithful. Number 2 is that you got to trust his timing. And the last thing is that remember that we serve a God that keeps covenant, that he does not break his promises. Hebrews 8:6, it says that we have a better covenant established on better promises. So you that are watching on today, remember, the Bible even says in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20, it says the promises of God are yes and amen. And remember that God's word ain't coming back void, according to Isaiah 55:11. So I just believe that if you just hold on to what God has even showed you and given you a glimpse of, you will see it come to pass. I love Psalm 37:4. It says, delight yourself in the Lord and that he will give you the desires of your heart. And then verse 5 says, if you commit your ways to God, he said, I will bring it to pass. I believe there's some things in 2024 that are going to come to pass in your life. But you have to be willing to go through things. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they went through the fiery furnace. And all of us have had some fiery furnace days, weeks, and months. Oh. But the key is that I love the fact the Bible says that they came out not even smelling like smoke. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if you're going through your own personal fiery furnace, you will come out of there not even smelling like smoke, that you're going to begin to continue to see the goodness of God in your life. So we just decree and declare that over you on today.
That's right, man. 2024, the year of the open door.
That's right.
Speaking of which, man, make sure you click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time we drop one of these podcasts. Once again, we'll be on every single Friday until Jesus come back. That's our goal. This is season 2 of Still Strong Podcast. We appreciate you all. Hope that you have one of the best weeks of your life. And, man, R.I.P. O.J. Simpson, man. Y'all, God bless.
Rest in peace.